It's of course expected that the overwhelming majority of movies which fare well with critics will inevitably end up with a sequel, in which the surviving main characters will return to reprise their roles. But every so often, actors end up revisiting major roles in the most unexpected of movies. So unexpected in fact that you might not even know it, or may have since forgotten that it ever happened. These 10 actors were all given the opportunity to reprise one of the biggest roles of their career, up to that point anyway, in a movie that absolutely nobody saw coming. I'm Gareth from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 actors you didn't know played the same character in different movies. Number 10. Sung Kang, Han Lu, Better Luck Tomorrow and The Fast and the Furious. The Fast and the Furious's wisecracking fan-favorite character Han Lu was first introduced to the series in the third film, Tokyo Drift. And though he died at the end of that movie, the series' ever-shifting chronology allowed him to appear in the next 3 films pre-mortem. Hilariously, Han is also due to make his return to the franchise in the upcoming 9th film, having somehow survived his fatal accident at the hands of Deckard Shaw. But 4 years before Tokyo Drift, Han was actually introduced in director Justin Lin's prior crime drama Better Luck Tomorrow. Playing the cool-as-ice enforcer of a high school gang of criminals, both Lin and Sung Kang himself have publicly stated that this is the same Han who later joins Dominic Toretto's family. And though he was initially only supposed to appear as a one-off character in Tokyo Drift, the positive response to the character resulted in him being brought back for a few sequels, or prequels, or whatever they are. Number 9. Michael Keaton, Ray Nicolette, Jackie Brown and Out of Sight. Jackie Brown is unquestionably Quentin Tarantino's most underappreciated film, a star-studded and devilishly witty adaptation of Elmore Leonard's novel Rum Punch, and one which features a memorably against-type turn from Michael Keaton as ATF agent Ray Nicolette. But while Jackie Brown was being shot, another Elmore Leonard novel was due to ramp up production, the Steven Soderbergh-directed Out of Sight. Ray Nicolette also appeared in that novel, and so Soderbergh managed to convince Keaton to reprise the role for a brief uncredited cameo in his movie. Due to Miramax owning the screen rights to the character, however, it fell to Tarantino to insist that they didn't charge Universal, who distributed Out of Sight, a fee to use Nicolette. As neat as a shared cinematic universe in which Tarantino and Soderbergh have both dabbled is, it's easily forgotten given how unassuming Keaton's tiny role is in Out of Sight. Number 8. Travis Van Winkle, Trent, Transformers and Friday the 13th. You probably don't much remember the character of Trent in Michael Bay's original Transformers, but he was Michaela Baines' stereotypically obnoxious jock ex-boyfriend and Sam Witwicky's high school nemesis. The character was a one-off in the Transformers franchise, and made no appearances in any of the sequels, though this might be explained by the fact that Trent secretly resurfaces and dies in 2009's Friday the 13th remake. In the movie, Travis Van Winkle plays another character called Trent, who exhibits all the same off-putting traits of his prior Transformers character. An antagonistic bully douchebag who viewers are actively encouraged to despise. Trent, of course, ends up as one of Jason Voorhees' victims, but given that Friday the 13th was itself produced by Michael Bay, there's absolutely no way in hell that this casting and namesake were a mere coincidence. Number 7. Dan Aykroyd, Ray Stantz, Ghostbusters and Casper. Dan Aykroyd's signature role is surely that of Ghostbusters' Ray Stantz, a role he played in the first 2 movies, a number of animated TV series and video games, and also the upcoming Ghostbusters Afterlife. Oh, and 1995's big screen adaptation of Casper. While Carrigan and her assistant Dibs attempt to have the McFadden mansion purged of Casper's unruly uncles, better known as the Ghastly Trio, none other than Ray Stantz is seen running out of the house in full Ghostbuster regalia, no less. On his way out, he says to Carrigan and Dibs, "Who you gonna call? Someone else," before fleeing the scene. And to dispel any doubt about the cameo, Aykroyd's costume has a visible name tag bearing the moniker Stantz. Number 6. Michael Parks, Earl McGraw, From Dusk Till Dawn, Kill Bill and Grindhouse. The late, great Michael Parks played the role of Texas Ranger Earl McGraw in From Dusk Till Dawn's more restrained first half. And though he's quickly killed by bank robber siblings Seth and Richie Gecko, that was far from the last we saw of him on screen. McGraw makes a chronologically ambiguous reappearance in Tarantino's own Kill Bill Volume 1, where he's seen investigating the wedding massacre which left the bride in a 4-year coma. Amusingly, Parks also plays a totally different character, Esteban Vigeo, in Kill Bill Volume 2. But it doesn't end there. Parks reprised McGraw again in Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino's exploitation collaboration, Grindhouse, playing McGraw briefly in both of their movies, Planet Terror and Death Proof. Number 5. Jason Statham, Frank Martin, The Transporter and Collateral. The Transporter franchise, the first 3 movies anyway, star Jason Statham as Frank Martin, a driver/mercenary who will deliver any package to any location if enough greenbacks are on the table. For a time, Martin was Statham's signature character, enthusiastically dispatching the baddies while cutting a trim figure in a dark suit. And according to Louis Leterrier, who directed the first 2 Transporter films, Martin made an additional appearance outside of the series proper. You may well have forgotten that Michael Mann's terrific 2004 thriller Collateral begins with assassin Vincent swapping bags with a shady, unknown man at the airport, who just so happens to be played by the Stath himself. Though the character is credited only as Airport Man, Leterrier later confirmed that it is indeed a canonical appearance by Frank Martin, given that he's absolutely in the business of dropping off packages and making anonymous trades. It fits like a glove. Number 4. Rob Schneider, Nazo the Delivery Guy, Big Daddy and Mr. Deeds. Big Daddy is one of the better Adam Sandler comedies of its era, an unapologetically immature yet surprisingly sweet film stocked with Sandler's usual supporting cast of best pals. Most prominently among them is Rob Schneider, who makes surely his most memorable Sandler movie cameo as Nazo, the deranged best friend and delivery man of protagonist Sonny. Though Schneider actually received a Razzie nomination for his performance in the film, it's honestly one of his less grating performances in a Sandler film, even mustering a few honest-to-God chuckles, I tells ya. Yet, all but the most ardent Sandler fans will likely have no idea that Schneider actually reprised the role a few years later in Sandler's remake Mr. Deeds. Granted, he's in the movie for literally 2 short scenes, and because Mr. Deeds didn't make anywhere near the same pop culture imprint as Big Daddy, it's a revival that's been largely forgotten to time. Number 3. Jamie Foxx, Django Freeman, Django Unchained and A Million Ways to Die in the West. Jamie Foxx played the central role of vengeful former slave Django Freeman in Tarantino's Django Unchained. And while it was pretty reasonable to expect the character to be a one-off, Foxx actually reprised the part in the most unexpected of films. Django actually showed up at the very end of Seth MacFarlane's western comedy A Million Ways to Die in the West. After the movie proper has finished, but before the end credits actually roll, Django pops up for a tiny cameo where he murders the operator of a racist shooting game called Runaway Slave, and drops the film's recurring one-liner, "People die at the fair." Number 2. Jamaal Willard, Notorious B.I.G., Notorious and All Eyes on Me. Though 2009's Notorious B.I.G. biopic Notorious received wildly mixed reviews, even those critics who dismissed the film generally agreed that it featured a spot-on performance from Jamaal Willard as the ill-fated rap icon. Willard ended up unexpectedly reprising the part of Biggie 8 years later for 2017's Tupac Shakur biopic All Eyes on Me, albeit this time in a supporting capacity. Sadly, Willard's performance wasn't received quite so enthusiastically this time round, with many critics complaining that Willard, who was 41 years old when All Eyes on Me was being shot, no longer resembled Biggie, who of course died at just 24 years of age. Needless to say, Willard has now firmly aged out of playing the part ever again. But considering how the Tupac biopic came and went without a peep, you probably never even knew he was in it. Number 1. Ralph Bellamy and Don Amici, Randolph and Mortimer Duke, Trading Places and Coming to America. In John Landis's beloved 1983 comedy Trading Places, the antagonists are Randolph and Mortimer Duke, the cruel commodity broker brothers who make a high-stakes bet to switch the life circumstances of a well-off broker with a street hustler. In the end, however, the tables end up turned as our hero set up the Dukes to lose a staggering $394 million, resulting in their personal and corporate assets both being confiscated, leaving them bankrupt. Hilariously, the Dukes make a blink and you'll miss it appearance in another collaboration between Landis and Murphy. 1988's Coming to America. In the film, Prince Akeem Joffer walks past two homeless men and passes them a fat stack of cash. And it's revealed moments later that the two men are in fact none other than the Dukes themselves. The two even refer to one another by their first names, but the 30-second cameo is still so fleeting that it's easily forgotten for all but the most hardcore fans. And that's our list. Know of any other actors people didn't know played the same character in different movies? Let us know all about them in the comment section below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button. Also, be sure to head on over to whatculture.com and click on some more brilliant articles just like the one this video is based on. I've been Gareth from whatculture.com, thank you very much for watching, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon.